Right then, lads and lasses, how we doing, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We are finally back with the YouTube video, ladies and gentlemen. As you all know, I've took a little 3-day break now, as of course last Friday it was my 18th birthday. I had a fantastic weekend. Of course, we went down to the town, me and all my mates, and yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I kind of just wanted to experience that weekend, my first night out in town and all that sort of stuff. Turning 18 the proper way. I kind of wanted to get off social media just for a little bit. But of course now, we're straight back on the grind. We've got news, lads and lasses, and actually I've got to be real, I did make a full-on YouTube video that Newcastle United are selling Minteh to Everton, and Newcastle United are pursuing Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It's turned the complete opposite way. Newcastle United have pulled the plug on a deal for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Talks were heavily ongoing, but of course we've got news why that deal is no longer going to happen. And of course, it looks like Newcastle United will sell our 19-year-old Gambian. By the way, what a player he is. It's going to be so agitating that we are selling him, but it might be for the better. He was going to go to Everton, as it's been reported that Minteh and his agent have actually given priority to Everton Football Club. That deal has now collapsed. Without further ado, lads and lasses, hit the thumbs up button if you do enjoy, and of course subscribe if you are new for all Newcastle United content, and let me know down below, are you happy with the dismissal of the Dominic Calvert-Lewin deal? And of course, would you sell Minteh for what is quoted in this video of £40 million? It's a hell of a lot of money. Without further ado, let's get into it. Oh, and my bad, very quickly, lads and lasses, honestly, I've been given over 1,000 happy birthday messages over on Instagram, YouTube, I'm on about altogether here, by the way, on all social media platforms, and of course, my lovely family. So first of all, I just want to say, if you did wish us happy birthday, thank you so much. It means the absolute world that you've took your time out of your day just to write a little message. Happy birthday. Honestly, I had a fantastic weekend, so thank you so much. Back onto the news. It's been reported by Fabrizio Romano, The Chronicle, The Athletic, many sort of journalists. We're going to all mix them up in one. Now, although many top clubs were interested in Minteh, as I said at the start of the video, Yankuba and his agent give priority to Everton Football Club. It's now been reported that talks with the Merseyside club have now collapsed, as Newcastle United have pulled the plug on the deal itself. Not Yankuba, not Everton. Newcastle United have not said you're not going there. It is likely that Minteh will be sold, with French side Olympique Lyon very interested. Minteh's agent spoke on the 19-year-old's future and said exactly this: "We've agreed terms with one club, now the rest is with Newcastle United." It is correct that Newcastle are willing to sell the player if they receive a good offer. Of course, Olympique Lyon, Everton, when they were interested in Minteh, were about to pay £30 million. Olympique Lyon, although being a French side and them sort of teams don't get as much money, they do regularly play European football. Lyon are willing to meet closer to Newcastle United's £40 million asking price. Now, I've got to say, I do not want to sell Minteh on the naked eye. He's had a fantastic season over at Feyenoord, and of course, we all just want to see him play for Newcastle United. Regardless of your stance on it, it would be unbelievable to see this hyped up 19-year-old, you know, from nowhere in Africa, Gambia. It's not really a footballing nation, and this guy looks like the African Messi. That's what they're calling him over there. I want to see him so bad, but at the same time, £40 million, if it keeps the hands off Bruno's, if it keeps the hands off your likes of your Alexander Isaks, we've got to take it, in my opinion. He's not played a single game, for which in its own aspect is very annoying, but £40 million for someone who, if he came to the Premier League and did not perform, of course he hasn't performed in a top league yet, he could fumble. £40 million right now, I say we'll snap the hands off. Yes, he looks like a fantastic player, and in my opinion would probably be a better right wing choice than Miggy next season. But of course, if we do sell Minteh, that could also allude to buying a big right winger. But yeah, I've got to say, lads and lasses, so annoying that we would sell Minteh. Of course, Olympique Lyon are willing to pay that £40 million price tag, and if they do, I'm taking it every day of the week. But of course, we spoke about Minteh potentially, not anymore, that deal has sort of collapsed, going to Everton Football Club. Newcastle United were interested in Everton striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That raised a few eyebrows, by the way. Everton quoted Newcastle United £40 million for the 27-year-old. Thankfully, especially after hearing that, Newcastle United have now pulled the plug on that deal as well. We were heavily linked with them. Eddie Howe certainly wants to bring in a second striker, but Newcastle United are no longer pursuing the deal for the Everton target man. Now, straight off the bat, I would say, of course, in the last video that I did record on Dominic Calvert-Lewin coming to Newcastle United, I was saying, you know, if he comes through the door, I'll back him, but I can't get my head around it. £40 million for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 27 years old, very injury prone, and of course, a year left on his contract. Who on earth do Everton think they are? Imagine if we sold Yankuba Minteh, this guy who looks like an absolute wonder kid, for £30 million and bought Calvert-Lewin for 40, some of the worst business I would have ever heard of. There's plenty other strikers out there, by the way. Of course, one who we've always touched up on for quite a long time right now, Serhou Guirassy, the Guinean striker from Stuttgart, a €17.5 million release clause, of course. Borussia Dortmund and many other top clubs, especially for a player of that calibre and that price, are interested in the striker, but 28 goals in 28 games in the Bundesliga last season. It's a fantastic return. In other news, though, Newcastle United could potentially be looking at, this isn't given to anyone, by the way, I'm kind of using it as an alternative to paying £40 million for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Manchester United, are looking at activating Joshua Zirkzee, the Dutch striker who had a fantastic season over at Bologna. Of course, they qualified for Champions League football, 5th in the Serie A last season. He has a clause in his contract with £34 million. Very young. I think he's versatile as well, I'm not going to lie. I haven't been watching too much of Joshua Zirkzee. I do have a lot of great things about him, though, but I've got to say, £34 million for a youngster rather than a 27-year-old with a year left on his contract, and he's very injury prone. It would be a much better deal. But like we said, lads and lasses, and as we obviously can tell by the news, Newcastle United do want a second striker. Who would you chuck about for a second striker? There's been many names put up there, by the way, but I have got to say my top two would be Guirassy and Zirkzee, not only for the price, but two fantastic strikers as well. Zirkzee would certainly be for the long term, though, as he is much younger. But just before we wrap up the video, lads and lasses, if you did have any hope that Newcastle United will not be selling Yankuba Minteh, it looks like he will be leaving the club. Of course, we'll have pulled the plug on that Everton deal, and of course Olympique Lyon are very heavily interested in the Gambian, and by the way, if they paid that £40 million price tag, that would be their record signing, so it looks a bit unlikely, but yet again, journalists are actually saying that it is going to be likely to happen. But I have got to say, lads and lasses, £40 million, I'm having it every day of the week, and of course, it has been reported by Fabrizio Romano that not only are Olympique Lyon pushing for player terms with Yankuba Minteh and of course their agent, but Newcastle United are hopeful of getting the deal wrapped up this week. Newcastle United have made their stance clear. They want to sell the Gambian. Yet again, it's so agitating, man. We want to see this guy in a Newcastle United shirt, but at the same time, in this horrible financial fair play restricted world, it might have to be what sort of happens, but it shouldn't be that way. Do you know what I mean? If we didn't have this FFP looming over our head, we'd have this guy coming in next season, we'd get so excited over him. But now, of course, we're going to have to buy an established right winger, which of course I'm not saying is a bad thing, by the way, but I just want to say I was so excited to see Yankuba Minteh play. Fantastic season at Feyenoord, and of course I kind of like it when players come to Newcastle and they're from very niche nations, shall we say, like Gambia. What footballers do you know that's from Gambia? I think one's called Musa Jarro from Bologna, but apart from that, I don't have an absolute clue. I don't think they've actually had any good footballers come out of Gambia. Yankuba Minteh would have been the first. It would have been great for exposure as well. Their best ever player playing for Newcastle United kind of would have got the nation on our side, or at least the country on our side. But there we have it, lads and lasses. That is today's daily Newcastle United news. Of course, we will be back with the content, the YouTube shorts, which, by the way, if you don't know the upload schedule, this one's might be out a little bit later, it got given out very late, this news, by the way, but it is usually 5 PM for long form videos, which is just this one here, like a proper YouTube video, and every day 7 PM for the YouTube shorts. Of course, I very rarely don't post them up on there, apart from the little break that I had. Yet again, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend, regardless of what you were doing, unlike me partying in the town. But there we have it, lads and lasses. I've been Geordie Josh. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Go and enjoy your day, people.